Hey crafters, it's me, Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and welcome to Free Play Friday on Black Friday. So instead of being a Black Friday, let's turn it into a fun Free Play Friday where we do something really cool. We're going to make this card today. You're seeing it kind of from like up above. That's the little box, and it's called Box and a Card. So here's the card, and when it stands up, the box rests right in the top. So you can take it off and actually open it up and put a little treat in there. So cute, right? So we are going to create that today, and it's super, super easy. So you're really going to love that. Let me just move it over so you can see it. So if you are joining us for either Free Play Friday, or if you have time to join us on Wednesdays at 5 p.m., we do a 10-minute card. There's always a live chat, so I just want to remind you of that. The live chat, anybody who's in blue is a moderator, so we've got Penny and Julie here today, and I want to say welcome to Sharon. We'll have more people popping in as time goes on here. I always come on a little bit early, so if you're looking for the project, never fear, I don't start the project typically until 5 minutes after the hour. That way you've got time to get in and get situated, to say hi to all your friends, because the crafting community always shows up. Hi, Rhonda and Krissa. Hello. So happy Thanksgiving belated. If you guys went on, traveled and celebrated, I hope that everything went well, that you had a good time and nobody got into any accidents or fights or anything like that. We decided to stay home this year, so it was my hubby and I just taking care of the house, which is a good thing because right before Thanksgiving we had the refrigerator leak right through the floor into what my husband is now creating as a theater room. And then was it the day before Thanksgiving? And then the day right before Thanksgiving, our water softener started leaking from the base, and we had to cut out some carpet down here, and just we're waiting for that to be fixed. So I'm really glad that we didn't go, because otherwise these things, we would have came home in the whole basement. It wouldn't have been flooded, but it would have been smelly, and so it's just best that we're here. Oh, and then the third thing is I plugged in a fan to clean up the, dry up the wet and stuff. And then I thought the house was burning down. It was the fan that burnt out, and it stunk to high heaven in here. So that's 3 things. We're done now. If they come in 3s, we're all good. We won't have to worry about that for quite some time, I hope. Luckily, we have a home warranty, one of those little home warranties that they do when you buy a house. So thank God we did that. That's going to be a huge, huge blessing for us. Hi, Jay and Delinda and Shelly. So we do have always the stuff that I use for the videos linked in the description box below. It's called Suggested Supplies. So because I affiliate with Amazon, typically they're Amazon links, and I get a teeny tiny commission from whatever you guys buy. So if you go in that link and you decide, oh, I don't really want to buy the thing that link was for, it doesn't matter. No matter what you buy, if you go in through one of my links, it benefits our community here and helps me become a full-time crafter, so I can be here with you guys all the time, which is what I'm super looking forward to doing. Right now I work full-time as an SEA, a student educational aid. I was an interpreter for the deaf. I still have my skills and my license. It's just that there's not enough kids, so I'm not an interpreter right now. Another couple of things I want to mention to you, we've got some really fun things coming up, including tomorrow, on Saturday the 25th, we're going to do another virtual garage sale. So I really hope that one's as successful as the first one was. I've got at least 20 different boxes and envelopes and stuff all ready to go. You can kind of see some of it in the background here, all staged and ready to roll for tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be adding some more as we go. So it'll be tomorrow, Friday, September 25th, 2017 at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's my time. If you're in a different time zone, make sure that you look at the time zone chart that's on the Quality Crafts group. In the files, it's called time zone chart. I'm pretty sure it's pretty simple to find. So do that. If you're not a part of our community, you want to join us over at Quality Crafts on Facebook. Answer the 3 questions so that we can get you entered. If you don't answer them, we will just decline you, and you'll have to redo it, because we're not going to let people in that are just coming in to scam or spam you. We're trying really hard not to let that kind of thing in. So it's a commitment and drama-free zone where you don't have to worry about whether or not, gosh, did I do something in the last quarter? Are they going to kick me out? Nothing like that. Just come and inspire and be inspired, and it's super fun to hang out there. And I will always post anything that's changing in that group. So if you're into my channel, or you're just finding my channel, or you really like this kind of video tutorial, make sure that you're in that group, because when things change, and they do randomly and on the fly and stuff, you will find out first there. One change coming up that I do know right now that I want to let you guys know is that Friday, December 1st, I will not be doing my regular Friday free play. I might move it to Thursday. I'll let you guys know in that group, because we didn't go out for Thanksgiving. I didn't do my candy making with my sister and my mother. I hope some of you guys still follow that kind of a tradition. So I'm going up the weekend of December 1st to visit my sister and my mom and to make Christmas candy, because that's one of the things that I like to hand out as gifts. It's a homemade and from the heart, so that's really cool. We've got about 3 minutes left here. How is everybody doing? Let's see. Oh, Edie Denmark. Hearts for you. First time live. Awesome. So glad to have you. I'm glad to have everybody, but sometimes we have people in here who have never been in a live before, or are new to the channel, and so we really want to welcome them and make them feel at home so that they can join in the group and start benefiting from all the fun things that we do. Cheers, guys. So we're going to be making this card right here. This was the one that you saw in all the previews. And then I did another one just yesterday to try it out and see if I wanted to make any changes. And I did the front and the back, and then I put my card in there. And that one turned out really cool. I didn't finish this one though, so either we can finish this one on camera, or I'll finish the one that I actually create today, which will be using similar colors to this one from the same color palette. Oh, and you guys are going to want to know what... There it is. I'm like, I know I put it near here. We will be using this pad today. It's called Crate Paper. Crate Paper paper pad. 48 papers. That's really all it says. Crate Paper. Oh, this must have been a Tuesday morning find, because look, it was only $6.99. Tuesday morning. That's a good place to find crafty stuff. Thanks, Judy, for the cheers. Okay, I'm going to move this stuff over. So linked below, I believe, should be this flower die and or this flower die. This is the one that I used on the original card. So if you're looking to make this really cool daisy looking flower, it's this one, and I'm positive we linked this one. Let me know if I didn't. I can find it for you. We'll be using a couple of gems and the little stick it tool, and I like this punch. I'm not sure if we found this punch, but anytime we don't have a link specifically to the exact thing, we'll link it as something that's similar so that you can find something that works for you. Otherwise, let's get going. Grab things from your stash and let's get creating this card. The first thing you're going to need is a card base, which is a sheet, 8.5 by 11 sheet cut in half, and I'm using the wider version, so it's a 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to fold it in half. So it ends up to be 5.5 by 4.25, and I'm going to use it the long way, the wide way, which is actually opposite to what I normally do. Because we need the strength and like, we need it to be sturdy to hold that box is what I'm trying to get at. So on this one, I put this extra sheet of cardstock, which is super thick. It's not just a regular sheet of paper, but you can hear that. It's pretty tough. So you're either going to want to do that on one side or both sides to make this sturdy enough to stand up and withstand the weight of your box, depending on, you know, what you put in and whatnot. If you put a lot of weight in there, then it's going to start creeping down and, you know, bending like that. So just remember that. Keep that in mind. So that's why I did all the layers I did on here. Now, the more layers you do, the harder it is going to be to cut through this. Mine was really hard to cut because I've got 1, 2, 3 layers on this side and 3 layers on this side. So I had to cut through 6 layers. I was able to do it, and it still looks pretty great, I think. Pretty, you know, no one's going to be like, oh, that's really crooked. But anyway, this one is super sturdy. Like, holy cow, you can feel it's a really substantial card. So those are a couple of things to keep in mind while you're making layers for this. And so I've got a couple of pieces cut out for the box. The box, I use 2 pieces that are 6 by 6. Now, if you want yours to fit, like if you look at my box right here, it kind of curves in, it caves in a little bit here. Make one of them slightly smaller than the other, and that way one will fit inside of the other. So I'm going to do 2 6 by 6s. I believe one of them is slightly smaller, if not very much smaller. So I might cut off maybe another 1/8 of an inch on one of these. But let's go ahead and do this card first. Then we'll cut out our spacing for the box, and then we'll create the box. So the first one is going to be, well, the whole thing would be 4.5 by 5, what's that? 5 1/4, what am I doing? 4 1/4 by 5.5. I'm so used to going that way, just rolls out of my mouth. 4 1/4 by 5.5. So we're going to do the first one 4 by 5 1/4. And I've got these 2 colors that came from that same palette that I told you about, that same one. Let me just move a few things out of the way here. So what did I say? 5 1/4 by 4, right? So I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4 first, and then I'm going to cut it by 4. And I think I might just add one on the back side. I might not layer both sides heavily, but that way I've got a little bit of a white edge around it. That's why I cut it that way, a 1/4 of an inch smaller. So if this is 4 1/4 by 5.5, and we went 4 by 5 1/4, that way you get that little bit of a rim. If you don't want it, then definitely make it the exact same size as the card, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5. I'm going to go ahead and go smaller each time with mine. And I'm using 110-pound Nina white cardstock for my card base and for my layering, in case you're wondering what kind of white cardstock I'm using. A lot of the general or generic kind of ideas that we have, supplies that we have that may not be, oh, mine just touched the paper. I almost lost that one. That might not be linked below. You can find in the store, linked in the Amazon links below the store category. So if you go to qualitycrafts.com, upper right hand corner, click on store, and then scroll down to the bottom, you'll find a lot of Amazon links that perhaps are not in the description box if you're looking for something else. So then my next layer would be white. So we did that layer that was 4 by 5 1/4. So now we're going to go 3 3/4 by 5 with white. So I'm going to cut at 5 first and then 3 3/4. Now this time I'm only going to put it on the front. So you can see that yellow is going to stand out, but the white's going to take over. And then we're going to put the red on the last piece. And then it's just up to you to decorate it any old way that you want. So I'll show you how to do the card. You guys handle making it uniquely your own after that process is done. So we have 4 1/4 by 5.5. We did 4. The yellow was 4 by 5 1/4. This white one was 3 3/4 by 5. And so now we're going to do 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And that's going to be the red. So I'm going to do the cut at 4 3/4 first, and then at 3 1/2. Is it 3 1/2? Did I say? I think so. 3 1/2. So there we've got that really cool red on the top. We've got another little layer of the white, and you can do this kind of layering or whatever you want on the front of the card to make it more sturdy any way you choose. It does not have to be done this way. This is just a really easy way to do it. If you've got that tool that, what is it called? It helps you do these. You don't have to like go back over and think about the math like I just did. Oh, what's a product called? It's called like Perfect Layers or something like that. If you have that tool, now would be a great time to pull that out and use it. I don't have it because this comes easily to me, but for those that don't, that's a really great tool to have. And so now I can feel that this is pretty sturdy. And I think that this will work out just fine. Now, we've covered the base. We have to cut the little hole for the card. Let me pull this one out so you can see what we're talking about. We need to cut this little hole for the card, and there's two ways to do this. So the first way to do it is the box is about 2 1/4 wide, and I want it to sit in about 1 inch. You can make your boxes any way you want. You don't have to make it the same way I make my box, but you have to decide how wide your box is going to be and how deep you want it to set in so that you know how big this piece should be that you're going to cut off. So mine is going to be 2 1/4 by 1. I can eyeball this and look on each side and go, that looks like the middle. Trace around it and cut it out. That's what I'm going to do. The other thing that you can do, which is, I have my little cheat sheet right here, is if you go in at 1.5 inches from either side and then mark down 1 inch and cut, you can do it that way. It goes, if you're using your trimmer, your sliding trimmer, I'll show you this one real quick. This one says to cut from 1.5 inches to 4. So if you put this in your trimmer, right on the cut side, so if you go in 1 inch and you line this up to 1.5, okay, and you slide it down to 4 inches, it'll cut that line, and then you'll have the line that you need, and then you can just snip straight up. Okay, so that's two different ways that you can do it. I'm just going to go ahead and say, this is how deep I want mine to go, which is 1 inch. And I want it to be about 2 1/4 inches wide, and that looks about center. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to pull out my pencil, because you can always erase the pencil marks if you don't like the way it turned out. Make your pencil mark, and then we'll do the cutting. So this is where it gets a little tough if you've got a lot of layers. I don't have quite as many layers as I had last time, so it's a little bit easier to cut. Now I cut down the 2 inches like this, and then I cut diagonal to the corner both ways to make it easier to get in there to get to the bottom of it. And that way I can just come in from the side now and hit that bottom line and go straight across. If you've got a different trick, or you've got something else that works better for you, maybe you have a die that you can slide through your Cuttlebug or something that'll cut this out, like maybe you've got a rectangle die that would work perfectly for that, you could go ahead and do that. But remember all the layers, it's pretty thick. But that looks pretty good. So I'm going to get rid of these, and now we've got our card base and the hole already cut out. And even with all my yakking and us starting at, what, 5 after or so, we're halfway done. We've gotten the cart already finished here, except for the decorating. And so next we're going to do the box. And like I said, I've got 2 pieces, approximately 6 by 6. I'm going to make sure that one of mine, let's see which one, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to make this one just a little bit smaller, like maybe by 1/8 of an inch. And that one, because I want this one to be on the outside. So whatever one you make smaller is going to be the one that fits on the inside. So that one's got a little bit off. I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit off the other side. I wish I could be showing you this, but I just like this trimmer. It's my big trimmer. It's off to the side, and it's just easier for me to trim on this one. So I'm hoping that you guys all have your favorite trimmer and that you can follow my directions clear enough. Please ask questions if you're a little confused on to how I'm doing something. A couple ways you can get my attention. The most exciting way is to hit the super chat little money button and to leave me a little one-time donation, and your whole little thing will pop up in a big bright colored box and I'll notice it right away. Otherwise you can put the little, what is it, the little @ symbol and then my name, and it'll pop up it orange on my end so that I can see it, that it's orange, and I'll notice it that way. So I'm just going to chop off a little bit more. All I'm trying to do is make this slightly smaller than the other one. There's other ways you can do this to make them smaller. If you look at mine, it's only like a little maybe a 1/16 of an inch smaller. You can go even smaller if you want, but I think that, you know, if it's a kind of a tight fit, that's okay with me. So let's go ahead and make these boxes. They're both made exactly the same, and then they just fit together. So the first thing we're going to do is fold this in half. Lord, let me remember how to make this box. I do not want to get halfway through this video, it's live, and then be like, oh, I can't remember. I've made a few of them, but origami is not my thing. And then after you fold it in half, you open it up and fold it in half the other way. And I like to score or bone fold and score all my lines, crease them all really well. And so now you should have a cross right here, and we're just going to fold in all the corners straight in. And if need be, later on we need to do this one more time, we can. Although we're going to do it twice because we need to make the cover and the bottom. But I don't mind doing this again if someone needs to see it. Now, I completely forgot to link it, but I will link you my inspiration for this. There's another video where they show you how to make this, and you're totally welcome to go over there and do their video. So there we've got all of them. And the next thing we're going to do is fold the bottom half up to where all the corners met. These are going to be the sides of our boxes. And right now what we're doing was just making sure that we have everything all creased up. So go ahead and crease the other side that way. We're making sure that we have all the creases so that when we go to put our box together, it's already ready to roll. And then open that back up. And then fold the other two sides that we didn't originally do right up to those middle corners. And then the other side, straight up to meet that. It's easier to use thinner paper. I like to use this pattern paper that's a little bit thinner, a little thicker than origami paper because it makes a tougher box, so it's up to you. So now we're going to open the whole thing up, and we're just going to open up 2 of the corners. So what's going to happen is this is going to be a side of our box, and this is going to be a side. We're going to hold those up and point forward, and we're going to push these in. While we push these in, we're going to pull this up. It should come straight up like this, and then we're going to push this over the edge and just crease it right into the corner there so that these little corners match up like that. And then we're going to turn it around. We're going to do the same thing. All I'm doing is just pushing in on these 2 right here, because that should make this start to stand up if you push these in. Thanks, Julie. That's so sweet of you. So Julie's name popped up in a big blue box and she donated $1. Thank you so much, Julie. I really appreciate that. So while we're pushing here, I'm just kind of using my other fingers to just make sure that comes straight up. And then I'm going to push that over the top and pinch, and then give that just a crease in there. And then it should stay together. If you want to add glue to the bottom of these 4 little things, you totally can. But I just feel like it'll just stay together, and it makes that little cool box. So let's go ahead and do that one more time with this one, and hopefully this one turns out just a slight bit smaller so we can put it together. So the first thing we're going to do is fold it in half. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you need to see something again. I've made a few of these, so I feel like they're a little bit easier, but I'm going to tell you, when I made my first one, I wasn't sure I'd remember how to do it, so don't feel bad. We're going to open it up and then fold it the other way in half so we get a crisscross in the middle. And then open it up. So we've got the crisscross. Now we're going to fold all of the corners into the center. The more exact you can be, the better your box will turn out. Did I go past the center? Let me look. Nope. Some of your papers just turn out not quite exact. Well, because you know why? Because I didn't measure this to make sure that it was exact. We'll see how it turns out. I didn't make this an exact square. I just cut off a little bit on each side, so I should have measured it. So if you do yours, just go ahead and measure it. I wasn't paying attention to that. So okay, we've got all those folded in, and now we're going to do the fold right to the middle where those meet on either side so that they come together. It almost like a little mini gatefold here. And then open it up and fold the other ones. So basically you're just doing the same thing to each side. And the box comes together really, really well if you crease all your edges and have that ready to roll. So we're going to open this up so that it's a square. And we're just going to pull out 2 of the corners. This one is going to be a wall. And then this one's going to be a wall. And then we're just going to turn it so we have one tip going up. And we're just going to give it a push right here in the sides. And then lift it up. It should, start to come up because we've got all those folded. And then we're going to fold it over the edge and tuck it in. And then turn around the other side. Give that a push and pull it up. And then crease it over the side. And hopefully this will fit together. So let's test it out. A very, very snug fit. I could have went even smaller, but it fits. So there you have the 2 boxes that fit together. I like the snug fit. If you have something that might just fly out of there, you may want to, and you can glue these down again. You may want to make this just a little bit smaller, because obviously mine didn't really get that small. There we go. And so let's just test that out and have it sit in our card here. Sometimes one side is a little bit longer, a little bit wider for some reason. Like when I put this in, it feels really loose. So I turned the box and slid it in this way, and that way it actually touched both of the sides and makes it so that it holds the card together for you. It should be pretty snug. I like it that way. You can make it so that it's loose, but like I said, it's just kind of sitting there. So that's why I make mine the same width as my card. And it should be squared, but one side, like I said, paper isn't always exact, so it just depends. But that turned out super cute. Now I've got the floral and both of the sides. I could decorate both sides if I want to. We could put candy in here. We could fold up money. We could put in a necklace or jewelry or a ring or some kind of really fun little trinket that, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's from the heart, right? It's the thought that counts. So now let's go ahead and play around with some of the dies and things that we have that we use to decorate this one with. I'm going to show you using this one and cutting out some of this. I'm not going to do the just for you, but you could put any kind of sentiment on yours that you want. That was just one that I had. So I've got 2 of them here, 2 bases. And we've got plenty of time left to go ahead and just do some of this decorating. What I want to know from you guys is, how was this card for you? Was this easy to make? Was it easy to follow along? One of the big things I'd like to know would be, do you want to see the folds again? Do you need to see these again? And we can do that before we move on, because we've got at least a full half hour here to decorate these up. Thank you to those who clicked the like button. I see you guys chatting about that sometimes. And while I'm waiting for some information on that, I'm going to bring in the Cuddle Bug and see if I can figure out how to cut this. I'm going to do some white flowers here. I say that because I'm constantly switching what I have in there, and I want to make sure that I have it set to the right, however I need it to be set there. I believe these will cut the regular way, which means the C plate, and I think it's the C plate. My paper came off of it and I haven't labeled it. So the C plate or maybe the A plate, and then 2 B plates. And it should go right in there. What did I do with it? I swear, I lose more things in a day. Here it is, underneath my paper. So I'm going to put that up. I'm going to put, one thing I do remember about this when I cut it is that, because mine are warped, so they kind of lean one way or the other. I want to make sure that I get a good, that my 2 B plates actually come together and touch each other. Yeah, see, we need these, because this is a really thin one. Super thin die. There we go. So I'm going to run this through slowly, and I'm going to look to see that it actually is cutting on this side. Let me move these out of the way so you guys can see it too. Rarity said taking 1/16 of an inch off 2 sides of the bottom section will allow the top to fit. You know, I cut about that much off, but maybe I didn't cut off enough. So if I look, I'm going to run it back through. No, I'm not, because sometimes I get a double cut. I think most of them cut. Ooh, I might have lucked out there. I might have just set it up enough so that I got a decent, yeah, okay. Awesome. So then I just push up from the bottom with my finger, and they usually just fall out. But see, now this one didn't cut all the way, I don't think, from the... I might be able to get it to tear out. Yeah, there we go. So sometimes I have to put it back in and roll it through again, but let's go ahead. That's all of them, and we can do it one more time. So we've got a bunch of them to play with. I've been looking forever for a die that looks like this, so I was really excited to find that. Ooh, my paper shifted. I guess I should have been watching that, huh? I think we actually got a nice cut on this one. I love it when they just fall out. You don't have to mess with them. Yeah, see, some of them did cut well and some of them didn't. And I think it's just my wonky plates. It's got nothing to do with the die. There's nothing wrong with the die itself. Sometimes you just have to mess around with it. See if I can get the rest of these out of here. Here we go. Close enough. All right, now we've got 2 piles. Let me just put that off to the edge. Let's get this guy out of here. We'll pull out all the pieces that we have. Okay, so let's just go ahead and decorate then. We won't worry about going back over. You can always pause the video and go back, even while it's live. And then after it archives, you can come back to it anytime you want. You can save it in your saved video file and stuff so that you can come back and find it anytime you need a refresher on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this the largest to smallest, and then I'll glue them together. So I'm just eyeballing them up. You can pretty much tell. That's all I did for this one, was largest to smallest, and I got this big flower. And then I just had a few left over from one that didn't quite cut all of them, and so I just used a couple of the smaller ones to create this one. So it's whatever you want to do with these flowers. You could use them total singular, you know, and just put a jewel or a gem in between them, and they would turn out fabulous. It's completely up to you. I'm going to make 2 full ones here because I have enough. Okay, and I'm going to pull out my little glue bottle. I'm going to bring this in just a little bit because these are really small. And I'm going to pull these off here. And I'm going to layer these wonky. Are you trying to say wonky or wanky? Because I would spell it with an O. Okay, so I'm going to offset them so that those petals go in between the other petals and then glue them down. Okay, and then just put a little tad bit of glue in the center there. It's hard to see because it's all white, but I am not using very much glue, guys. Less is more when it comes to wet glue, seriously. And then toggle these so that they're inside of the other ones. However you like them to look. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then a little bit of glue there and put on the next one. Toggle those so that you can see. And then eventually we're going to go ahead and like lift them up, pull them up. You could use your bone folder or the edge of your scissors and curl them up, or use your finger to curl them up. However you want that to go. I wouldn't mind if I could find this in a punch too. I do not know what the name of this die is. Somebody on Facebook was selling it. I just happened to see it. And I think it's just called Daisy. Like seriously, it didn't come in any packaging. She probably ordered them from China. And this is exactly what it looks like, and that's all I got with it. And I would call that a daisy die. Let's see. Penny, did we look these up? Did we ever find this exact die? Let me look down. Yeah, wonky, W-O-N-K-Y. Not that it matters. If you guys can go in the description box below, I can't click on it because it's not a link to me. It's just a bunch of words. See if I linked you to that one. I can't remember if we found it or not. There should be some dies though that we linked you to that are similar to what we're using today. And then in the center of that one, I just used one of these really cool gems. What is this one called? I'm almost positive these came from Hobby Lobby. I could be wrong though. It's called Jolie's Boutique All That Bling. But they're like rainbow looking. They're not just clear. Wow, that camera's just not really picking it up, but they're very rainbow. No, we weren't able to find them. I'm sorry, guys. Somebody on Facebook found them in China and ordered them, I believe. And I was able to order one from her. So they're out there. It's just a matter of finding where she got them from. So I just put that little gem right in there. You can do a colored gem, something that matches your project, whatever you want to do. I'm going to do this one because I like that they go, that they look like rainbow colored, because I know they're going to totally match whatever I have it on. So now I'm going to lift up some of these petals with my fingernail, and make it a little bit more 3D. You can curl them up, like I said, before you even glue them down if you want to use your scissors or your bone folder or whatever to make them a little more curly. But I like the look of that. All I did was just pull them up with my fingernails. I think I did kind of the same thing with this one. And then I just glued that on top of my box. Let's bring back this one. And I did it white because of the white that showed. And that way it balances out the white and the color that you have. So if you're going to have the bottom flower lay flat, you can glue all of the petals. If you're not, then just put glue in the center. I feel like if I glue down the largest petals, that I'll have a better chance of it staying where I want it to. That's totally up to you. So all I'm doing is just taking my bone folder. You could take the box apart and push from the inside of the box too. I'm just pushing it down with my bone folder because I know the glue's on there and it's going to adhere. And then that way it'll stay. Super cute. Oh, Penny, well, you know we love ya. You can spell it any way you want. Cheers, guys. Everybody must be Black Friday shopping because there aren't as many people who are normally here. So then we can put another one of these on there and then do a little sentiment across here. And I think I will do that. I used this with some like shiny green paper. Let me see if I still have that handy. I think I do. Yeah, I just happen to have some metallic paper that's green. And so that will go with a little bit of the green that's in this card. This is a Fisker's punch. And they don't name them, so I don't know. Fisker's Ivy Punch, Fern Punch, whatever it's called. I have no idea. And this punch works just fine. Just so you know, this is like a heavy-duty cardstock. And that's why I struggle with it just a little bit, getting that punched out. I don't want you guys to think that this is a bad punch. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I like really heavy paper. I tend to use a lot of really heavy paper. Yeah, I don't do Black Friday. I ordered all my Christmas gifts online this year. Mostly through Amazon. Exclusively through Amazon because I love their deals. And I love the shipping. The free shipping and the fast shipping. It's awesome. There's second to none. So I am going to glue this exactly the way I did the other one because I have the whole set, which last time I did not. You know what else we could do is we could color these flowers. What's another flower on here? Well, we don't want to do red on red. But there is a dark blue and a light blue. So do you want a dark blue flower or a light blue? Let's vote. Dark blue, light blue, or a mix of both. And I'll pull out my eBrush and we'll spray these, hopefully, without blowing everything all over to Kingdom Come. Light blue, dark blue, or both. I call it today Buy Nothing Day. Oh. So let's see. Oh, I have two big ones. Why is that? Nope, that's a smaller one. Mix. Okay, light blue, dark blue, light blue, dark blue, light blue, dark blue, light blue, dark blue. Light on the left, dark on the right, because I can see there's a lot of people saying mixed. Let me make sure that that's plugged in, because I have to share plugs right now. And something tells me this one's probably not plugged in. And it's not. Okay, so we're going to do a dark blue and a light blue. So let me go ahead and pick, let's see, some colors that would probably look the same. That's really close to the light blue, I think. Close enough anyway. And then we need a dark blue. I don't have a lot of perfect colors, so we're just going to have to do with what I do have. We don't want these going all over the place, so let's do this. Let's get out a piece of printer paper and do light blue. I'm taking some of the sticky off of these so that these don't stick forever and I can get them back up when I'm done. So I'm just going to gently put them on here. These are going to be the light blue. Okay, and so I'm going to bring over my eBrush. You won't be able to see the whole machine, just this part of it that I'm spraying with. I gotta back you guys out again. We're too close. That'll work. And load my light blue marker and then turn it on. And then I'm going to spray first to see where it comes out at. I'm going to flip the marker around. Maybe I don't have it in there in a way that's going to, there we go. That is the light blue, so go ahead and spray these. Maybe this one is just not as wet as some of the other ones. I'm going to turn it up a bit. There we go. That looks good. Ooh, let's turn that off for a second. It's pretty loud. Alright, and then we're going to move these over. And then we're going to do the dark blue ones. So let's pull those out. We'll stick those down. Turn that back on. This is a darker color, so yeah, we don't have to go very... I'm just going to turn this just a little bit so that I don't accidentally spray those other flowers. Yeah, dark colors way faster. I'm not going to go any darker than that. I think that's good. And then that just hangs up and sits on top of the machine. And put my markers away. And we'll peel these guys off. You can also just color these if you want. I just really like using my eBrush when I get the chance. I'll move that off to the side, and then we're going to put this guy together. I forget that I have my camera a little bit further out. So we're going to do the same thing as before. Put a little bit of glue and then your next piece. Doing it this way, you're definitely going to see the difference of where all your petals are facing. So this might give you another idea of how to make this go around. How you want to toggle, where you want to put them. And remember, with wet glue, less is more. Don't put a big gob on there that's just going to leak out all over the place. You don't want that. Little dab will do ya. You could also use, what, like glue dots or whatever else kind of glue you have that you really like. Look how cool that turned out. Let's go ahead and put a gem on there. Whoa! That went right underneath this whole thing. Oh, I found it. I lucked out! I didn't lose it forever. Here we go. I'll put that right in the middle. You guys can't hear him, but I can still hear Liney. He stands at the top of the stairs and cries. We are doing this one with this box. So let's go ahead and just flick these flowers up a little bit. These little petals, I mean. I do believe I have the airbrush linked in the store. Go to the koalitycrafts.com/store, and that's just a quicker way to get to it, so you don't have to go to the landing page if you don't want to. And scroll down to all the Amazon links and you'll find the eBrush there. It's a little bit more pricey than perhaps some other things that maybe are on your wish list, but it's totally worth having. I love playing with it. And then we're going to bring in our little leaves. And we just have to decide how we want this to look. You can put them any way you want. I'm actually thinking maybe less is more this time. Maybe just 2. And then I can still fit a sentiment down here. Let's go ahead and glue these guys down. Again, I'm going to put a little bit on each one of the longest petals because I think that they will be fine just staying down. And then a little bit of glue on these. And when I say a little, I mean just a little. And a little tiny bit of glue on them. See, and I even added just a tiny bit too much because then it came out and got on the leaf. But that looks pretty super cool. So we put our card in there, and then that's how our card looks. That is really, really pretty. I absolutely love that stunning flower. All right. I did link the other flower, which I did not cut today. Maybe in another card, another day I'll do that one. I might have already used it, actually. I think I did. In one other one, I used this one. This die for sure is linked. And this makes a really awesome flower too. So go ahead and make yours with that one if you can get your hands on it. And let's just go ahead and finish this off by putting a little sentiment across here. I'm thinking we could do that in white. Let me find my extra piece of white I have laying here. I wonder if I have this. Well, this is the back of the other piece. That'll work. It's a perfect size. It's that other colored piece that I had, but we could use that. I forget what I was saying. I thought there was something else. I lose my train of thought when I'm looking for stuff. Jeepers. Oh. All right, let's put those markers away. I think we're pretty much done with that. We need a sentiment though. What kind of sentiment stamp? Oh, you know what? Somebody remembered that I needed sentiments. Who was it? It was Jocelyn who sent me these. A whole container full of sentiments so that all I would have to do was pull one out and use it. Check that out. Jocelyn, you rock. And actually, I wouldn't even have to use that. That looks really good all on its own. Look at that. We're totally going to use that, Jocelyn. You were paying attention, my dear friend. Oh, I'm always looking for sentiments. I really should start doing like a whole... Let's just stamp sentiments one day on a Free Play Friday. How's that sound? I love it. We could bling that out too, couldn't we? Maybe we want a couple extra blings on there. I showed the card that she gave me on a different video. If you guys want to see it, let me know. I absolutely love it. And we've got a couple other little pieces of bling down there to make everything match. We'll set our card up. It's too bad that I can't tilt this so that you guys can see what it looks like from the front. I'll try. So it looks like that. And then from the top. And that's the back. So you could decorate the back too if you wanted to. So pretty. So here's the card that Jocelyn sent me. It's awesome. Check it out. Look at all that glimmer. All that shine. I love this card. This is like one of the cards that when you get it, you don't ever want to throw it out. Because it's amazing. So pretty. I just love it. Okay, looks like we've got just a few minutes left. Let's go ahead and do something on here. I think I may have, if I move my keyboard over, a few of those other flowers cut here. I do. Look at that. I do have a few left over from the last time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go ahead and glue some of these down. And I'll show you what I mean by curling these up. So if you wanted to just run this over each petal, you can make them curl. You can use a pencil, you can use a tweezer, you can use your finger, you can use a scissor to do that kind of curly thing. And you could color these too, but I'm not going to color mine. But I've got this extra little butterfly laying here too that's going to totally match this. So I'm going to glue him on. I'm going to glue him on these two leaves, these two petals that he touches when he sits like this. So it looks like he's sitting upon that flower. So cute! You see him? And then I'm going to use some of these other little flowers to just put on the card to make it all match. Oh, I thought I had another little one, but I don't. Maybe I'll put a big one up this side. And this one is more like, I don't know how to explain it, like more like glitzy, more like, let's see, old-fashioned kind of. I feel like we should do like some pearls or something on this one instead. I'm thinking pearls would be really pretty on there. For sure a big one there. Maybe I want to go a little bit smaller for the other ones. And I wonder if I can fit one underneath or near that butterfly. Should be about right there. That'll work. So that looks pretty. We could do a sentiment on there too. I think all of these say happy birthday, so I don't know if I want to do another happy birthday. Let me just look real quick. Yep, they're all happy birthday. Okay. Let's do another sentiment. Let's do a different one. I gotta think for a second. Where do I have the closest sentiment in all this mess? Oh, I know. I've got some right here. Let's use this one. This one has a bunch of different ones on it. And maybe we should do it in like a light brown or something. I like the Just a Note. I'm going to go with that one. Let's see if this one will be enough. Dark enough to show through. Ooh, I guess so. Whoa, I almost put the note right next to it. That would have not been cool. Just note. Just note what? Just a note. There we go. That'll work. Just a note. Okay. So there's one, and here's the other one we did together today. Let's go ahead and put that one together. So cute. You guys get to decide what to put in them. If it were me, I would do like Hershey Kisses and Tootsie Rolls, because I like those. Or any other kind of candy on the planet. I love candy. I gotta wipe these off quick. I'm just gonna put these back in so I don't lose them, because I've been having lose everything spree lately. Wipe the ink off, and then there we go. Ooh, my wet wipes weren't closed all the way. Okay, and here was the original one that I did that you guys would have seen on probably like the Facebook post, and I believe this one is on the thumbnail. That one's really pretty. And then Just For You is all glitzy too. It's hard to see in the picture. So we've got 3 super fun cards. So do not forget, tomorrow on Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, all these packages that I have behind me are going to be in the virtual garage sale. So what I do is I have one price for each package as we go. Shipping's included, and it's first type, first serve. So it can be, depending on whether or not sales are going quickly like they did last time, they could go really, really fast. So if you may get frustrated by that people are getting things that you're not able to get. I just want you to know that up front. That can happen. Maybe it'll be a slow day and there won't be that many buyers, and that you can take your time and whatever. Anything that doesn't sell will be listed on Quality Crafts for them to make a choice next if they want to purchase those things. And then hopefully everything will be gone at that point. What else? Wednesday, let's see. So today is Friday. Happy Friday! I had off Wednesday and Thursday, so I wasn't working, but typically Friday is like, yes, it's finally Friday and I have the weekend and it's awesome. And I hope that is that way for you guys too. I mean, I don't hate my job, but darn, I love my time off. I'm sure you guys do too. I do hope that you guys will try making one of these cards. I'm going to go over to Quality Crafts on Facebook right now and set up an album. I hope you'll join me. If you made one, post it in that album. Please, please, please don't just post them in the comments. Post them in the album so that we click on them, we can see all the pictures that are in the album of everything that you guys have made uniquely your own. Because that's where the inspiration comes from. I know yours are going to look nothing like mine, and that's the fun of it. We want to see what else you guys can come up with. So join us on Quality Crafts if you haven't already. I'll go over there and set up an album for us. Meet me again this coming Wednesday for a 10-minute card, and I will be doing... let me pull it out. Oh, airmail. I will be doing... Where's the return address? Oh, here we go. Alina Floria's envelope on Wednesday. So, Alina, I didn't notice if she was here today. Did I say hi to Alina? In any case, I will put it in the other group so that she can see that her envelope is next. That will be a card, one in 10 by Jen. 1 in 10 by Jen, a card from Mailbox to Masterpiece. And what we did today was Free Play Friday. It was a card in a box, tutorial style, and these are super great for giving. Make it uniquely your own. Put something in that little box and make somebody smile today. I can't wait to see you guys next video.